So when I was pregnant with Abby, at our 20-week ultrasound, we found out that we had a 2-vessel umbilical cord and that there were some other things going on with Abby. So they sent us to a specialist in Columbia, and we really thought we'd go up there and they'd be like, it's fine, and we'd go on about life. But when we went to the specialist, there was a list a mile long of different things going on with her. She has Dandy Walker, and so she's missing part of her brain and has a cyst in the back. And then whenever we were at the doctor's office, he wrote it all down on a piece of paper for us to take with us. I threw it in my purse and we never looked at it again. About 27 weeks, we went in for a follow-up, and we were told we were going to go for observation because my blood pressure was high. And the next day, Miss Abby made it into the world. Abby was in the NICU for 3.5 months.
So having a daughter in the NICU was pretty rough. I don't know, just shock, I guess. When we were still in the NICU, before we left, they got us set up with the first steps. And that's when Terry came out and she got us set up with Special Learning Center.
Abby's early goals were really head control, just being able to lift her head, visually attend, look at things, reach for toys, and then just her developmental milestones, learning how to roll, learning how to sit. And they were tough. She had a helmet, and it was slow going, but she persevered, and she is where she is today because she doesn't give up.
I met Abby in June of 2017. Terry Bruni had been seeing her for occupational therapy, and she said, "Lisa, you really need to come meet this sweet little girl." She's like, I need some help trying to figure out some different positioning equipment for her. And she said, "You are going to love her. You have got to come meet her." So very early on, we were working on pretty basic things. You know, she was a year old. We were working on holding her head up whenever she was on her belly. We were working on holding her head up if, she was supported in sitting. We were working on some rolling. We tried to work on some crawling. That definitely was not her favorite thing to do. So in the beginning, it was really just trying to see if we could get her some head control so that she could start to engage and interact with her environment.
So we had a lot of questions about Abby's diagnosis and what that would mean for her and what kind of life she would have. But every time we'd ask the doctors, they would say, Abby's gonna be who Abby's gonna be. That was really difficult for us because we wanted to know so we could prepare to take care of her. When she was 2 years old and we took her to the neurologist, he was really impressed at what she was doing. She started sitting up at 2, and she started taking speech, so she got a few words around 2, and he said she was doing more than he ever would have expected at that time. And she's grown leaps and bounds since.
So Abby has completed 5 intensive therapy programs at the Special Learning Center. Her first 2 intensives, she was starting to learn how to use a gait trainer. So the very first gait trainer that she used was called the KidWalk. It's a rather large piece of equipment, but it provides complete and total support to her whole body. So it holds her trunk up, it helps give some head support. So the only thing she really has to work on is moving her legs. We immediately saw that Abby was motor driven. She wanted to go. So as soon as we could get her upright and gave her the right supports, she was ready to take off.
So at the Special Learning Center, we love seeing new faces. I got to first meet Abby in the hallways, and I just remember her beautiful smile and just saying hello and watching her play on the playground. And then finally, I got to be her teacher. Because of her physical limitations, a lot of what we did in the beginning were physical kind of therapies. We had to get a little bit creative with how we would have her stand, and we would have a sensory table, and I would fill it with water and bubbles or all different kinds of media. And so she would stand there and play next to her friends, and she didn't realize that she was working. Abby, there's nothing that was gonna set Abby back. She wanted to do everything that all the other children were doing. She got to where she was writing her name and doing all kinds of things at the table right along her peers. And she's just so proud. She gets so excited about the smallest things, and there's this sweet inflection in her voice when she's excited about something, and we all just, our hearts melt when she starts to celebrate, because we're like, yes, yes, Abby, you did do it.
We worked long and hard on play skills, and she has progressed to, she's writing her name, she's using scissors. We thought initially maybe she would have to have some adaptive scissors, some different things that way, and she can do it without. She just fits right in and wants to be like everybody else, and is so proud of herself when she succeeds, as she should be.
The most exciting thing in August of 2020, during an intensive therapy session, Abby started to take her very first independent steps. Through that intensive therapy program, she took 28 steps during that intensive, and she just kept going from there. By December of 2021, Abby was able to walk all the way down the hallway, over 150 steps independently on her own, and she hasn't stopped.
Watching Abby graduate was amazing. She literally walked on her own, and I don't know that I would have thought that would have happened. And that was just amazing that she could do that on her own.
In the beginning, I wasn't sure what Abby's potential was going to be. She had a lot of medical things that she had to overcome. I wasn't really sure what the future was going to look like for her. Abby has taught me to never put limits on anything. If she puts her mind to it, she's going to do it. And I hope she continues to be that way for the rest of her life.
What are your hopes and dreams for your daughter?
Just want her to be the best she can.
Abby's story is truly incredible. Abby's wish was to walk and to talk, and we helped her make that wish come true. How many more children are in line with their wishes? Together, we can work to ensure that every child's wish comes true.